Yes. Good morning, everyone. The March 6, 2024 meeting of the City Council is called to order. This meeting has been properly noticed and posted in compliance with the open meeting law. These proceedings are being video recorded as well as presented live on KCLV Cable Channel 2. No. You may also watch this meeting live on Apple TV, Roku, Amazon Fire TV on Channel 2. You may also watch the meeting on Apple TV, Roku, Amazon Fire TV on the Go Vegas app. The City Council meeting, as well as all other KCLV programming, may be viewed on the internet at www.kclv.tv/live. The proceedings will be rebroadcast on KCLV Channel 2 and the web. The Wednesday, the meeting at 8 p.m., Friday at 4 a.m., Saturday at 7 p.m., Sunday at 7 a.m., and the following Monday at 5 p.m. This building is protected by state-of-the-art fire detection and suppression sprinkler system. The alarm should activate during today's meeting. God bless you. Please evacuate using exits back of the chambers, going out to the mezzanine, proceed out the double doors to the terrace, and go down the back staircase. For anyone who's difficulty with stairs, please check with a marshal or fire official for assistance. And once outside, assemble on the northeast corner across the street from City Hall, Lewis and First Streets. Employees wearing safety vests or city marshals will inform you when it's safe to re-enter the building. For public comment related to items on the agenda, citizen participation, public hearing items, we have available a speaker card which you may complete and submit to our city clerk up front. Cards are available in the clerk's office or at the rear of these chambers. However, if you do not submit a card, it does not prevent you from speaking under public comment, citizen participation, or specified public hearing items. If anyone's present, today who has need for hearing impaired equipment, please see our city clerk's staff. If you parked in the parking garage across the street, a self-validation machine is located in the foyer between council chambers and the security desk you walk through to enter our chambers. You must have your ticket with you to use the machine. However, if you do not, please see security personnel when exiting. And before we proceed with our agenda, would everyone rise for the invocation given this morning by Reverend Mary Bredlow, Clark County Coroner's Office, and please remain standing for our pledge and ceremonials. Good morning, and thank you for coming.
You're welcome.
Again.
Let us pray. We pray in thanksgiving this day as a time to remember all the services of our two Las Vegas mayors, Oscar and Carolyn Goodman, who have been here with us for years, helping, guiding. And in a recent interview where Carolyn said, the way I got through it was I just kept my eye on the ball. In one of our last interviews with a reporter, she said October 1st was so tough, but that it showed that there are lots of good-hearted people here in Las Vegas, besides those who make the news for crimes and negative events. She explained how a person can't learn to live together in a very close family without learning how to live together in tough events of life, and learning to cooperate and listen to one another. And governing like that is what helps our city to develop, to grow positively, help our citizens to work together, to cooperate together, and to do so again and again as our citizens go to the polls to vote for strong and intelligent candidates. Help us, O God, to keep raising our children in the best way we can, to continue improving and strengthening what our positive leaders continue to try to do, and help all of us citizens to do our best in our daily families, in our schools, in our community life and neighborhoods. Help us to live lives of respect for each other. Amen.
Madam Mayor, I just want to point out, Reverend Mary, thank you for the beautiful prayer. Reverend Mary is also a fellow firewife. Her husband, Kurt, who's passed, spent many, many years on our Las Vegas Fire and Rescue team as an engineer. So bless you. Thank you very much, Reverend Mary, and we love Kurt.
Who's doing the ceremony?
Oh. These are nice. So you like my brown loafers?
Big morning. Awesome. It's all yours, I understand. Mayor Pro Tem Brian Knutson, Ward 1.
Thank you very much, Mayor. A full 30 minutes. That's what I get, a full 30 minutes. I guarantee we'll be starting by 9:30. I hold everyone to a very strict time schedule, but I was trying to figure out how to use 30 minutes because I don't particularly like talking so much, despite what others may say. No, my 30 minutes, mine. First of all, I want to talk a little bit about the department that is run so eloquently by Miss Tammy and have her come up here and talk a little bit about youth development and social initiatives. It used to be innovation. I'm trying my best. The acronyms are a lot. So youth development. But the reason you're doing this now is because of the work that our mayor started, I think, 11, 12 years ago to talk about how important it is that the city engage with the children of our community, that it's not any one individual's responsibility, it's everyone's responsibility. And we all have a role to play, we all have things to do. But as adults and as a city organization, we have a pivotal role in making sure children have something to work towards and follow examples from and learn from, and you do it amazingly well. So I just would like for you to spend a little bit talking about how critical your employees are, what they do for our community, and specifically what they do for children. And thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Dr. Tammy Malich, Director of Youth Development and Social Initiatives. I have the humble, beautiful honor to serve a department at the hands of our mayor and city council, who believes that the education, academic enrichment, well-being of our future is too critical to leave it to one organization. It's too big of a job. It's too important of a job. We celebrate and support all of the other agencies that do this work, but we know that it can't be done by just one entity or agency or individual. So I get the honor to oversee a department that really serves youth from birth, cradle, through career. How awesome is that? Awesome, right? Prior to coming to the city, I was an educator for 30 years, worked in the Clark County School District and retired and had the opportunity to come over and do this work. The city runs preschool programs. We partner with a Head Start provider to run Head Start preschool programs. We operate a charter school, K-5, bilingual dual immersion school, very small school with intent and purpose. The program that we're going to talk mostly about for the next couple minutes is our before and after school programs. Safe Key is a vital role in the work that we do here at the city. It is a service. It provides the opportunity for parents to continue to be employed and part of our workforce, knowing that their babies have a safe environment where we have caring, trusted adults that work to support them. We don't just support them by playing Foursquare and Jenga, not that there's anything wrong with that, but we really use those minutes to provide an extended academic day for those babies, to enhance their social emotional well-being, and to work on their physical fitness and nutrition. We feel like the more we can support that, the stronger our schools become. We also support 16 schools in the urban core, so some of our lowest performing, lowest economic income schools. We support those schools through an AmeriCorps program, but we further support those schools through our after-school programming. We are one of the only government agencies and the first in Southern Nevada that applied for and received a 21st Century grant to be able to provide no-cost after-school programming at all of those schools. We are able to fund teacher salaries after work to provide academic tutoring. It does two things, right? Provides academic enrichment, but it also gives teachers an opportunity to earn extra income in the building where they know these babies. And we know the most impactful way to impact a student is engaged, caring adults. I don't do this myself alone, of course. I have an incredible department. Our Safe Key team is here in council chambers. Please stand. Safe Key team, please stand. These incredible human beings, along with about 350 hourly employees, serve 70 schools in the city of Las Vegas, making sure that babies have care before school starts and after school ends, getting them safely off campus if there's an emergency to an alternate site for their parents to pick them up. We hope that's not a common thing, but it does happen. We're able to do that. At these city council chambers, you heard one of our employees who saved a child's life because she recognized the universal choking sign and actually saved this child's life. So that's the kind of work that my team does. I'm super excited. We do that with community partners, of course. And the next item that you're going to hear about, GUARD, I don't want to spill all the beans, but we partner with GUARD in Compassionate Las Vegas in a lot of the work we do through our Mayor's Faith Initiative. But now today, to allow us to provide the Shine Hope curriculum in our after-school programs to help support our babies even more. We've done other things to address behaviors coming out of COVID, connecting kids to resources. This is one more way that we're trying to make sure that our babies are in the safest, strongest, most resilient places when their parents are busy and hard at work, keeping our economy running, keeping this fabulous city running. So I appreciate the recognition for my team. They work tirelessly. They don't complain. They just roll up their sleeves and get the work done. And I thank them for that. In addition to that, we also do social initiatives and workforce. I don't want to leave those teams out, but the foundation has to be that we take care of these babies from the time they're born to the time they get out of high school. So thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. I appreciate it. And I appreciate GUARD and the opportunity to be able to provide the Shine Hope curriculum to our kids in our after-school program. Thank you.
For my remaining 15 minutes, I'm going to ask our Jameson to come on up to the front. And to the best of my ability, I try to keep a secret, but I think it's a violation of a law if I have a secret as an elected official. So today we're going to recognize Guard Jameson as the Citizen of the Month. And so that's one way. So while he's hugging and kissing, I'm going to tell just a second about why I chose Guard to be the Citizen of the Month for Las Vegas for this month, and his name will be on a plaque and his picture will be on a sign out on Main Street. But it goes back to the beginning of when the city really engaged in education, and I want to give full credit to the mayor who empowered me. I'm sure sometimes she regrets empowering me, but she did. She empowered me to talk more about children, talk more about how the city can play a pivotal role with the development of children in our community. And so that culminated in me believing in myself, me having hope that I had a different future than what I had originally anticipated. And then I met Guard, and Guard gave me that inspiration, that push. He made me feel comfortable and safe. And I met a lot of friends along the way. And I remember the first time where I felt really like I was stepping into the role that I was supposed to be in. It was at Cashman Field, and we aligned about 150 leaders in our community, and we started talking about what can we do for children? What can we do better? We should always be talking about what we can do better. It never stops. And in the audience, I saw Guard Jameson sitting there, and I was so scared, so nervous about speaking, because I really am not a fan of public speaking. But I was so nervous. And I looked out, and I saw Guard, and immediately I thought, it'll be okay. I can fail miserably, and I've failed lots of times. And every single time, there's somebody there to pick you up, dust you off, and say, it's okay, you can go forward again. Try it again. And you do that for me. So every time I'm feeling a little bit down, I reach out to you, and you make me feel a little bit better, because there is hope in our community. And the first step in leading our community is understanding that we have to have hope. And so I am so incredibly grateful for your contributions to making Las Vegas a better place to live. It's not just about the city, it's about every single person who calls Las Vegas home. And we all are the leaders that this community needs. It's not about the elected officials, it's about each one of us. And Guard is the backdrop. Thank you for providing inspiration and creativity and imagination and hope for other people to go out and lead in our community. Thank you.
So I'm going to quote my teacher. Anybody heard of Yoda? Failure is your teacher. And so it is. And it was 1989 that I met this amazing lady named Carolyn Goodman through a mutual friend, Barbara Stout, you may recall. It was at UNLV, and we created a decades-long friendship, Oscar and Carolyn and I. And you've probably seen Carolyn occasionally get up to the podium, and she's got a baby in one hand, she's got another baby in another hand, and she's talking about the importance of youth. And this morning, when I woke up, I shared with my wife that we were going to be a hopeful city. And she said, but you're already a compassionate city, so why do you need hope? This is a brother and a sister relationship. And compassion gives us the capacity to know that each and every one of us belong. We belong to a community, and we should belong with a quality of respect and dignity. Everyone, without exception. And so that is what I call the fundamental Bill of Rights. We should all have the right to belong with dignity and respect. But then I told my wife, I said, there's this hope thing. It's pretty important too, because hope is a value which suggests the right that every person has the right to become exactly who they're intended to become. Every person is unique, as my wife, who's an obstetrician, says, right? When she delivers a child, she's about to deliver one now for Volunteers in Medicine. She says, this is a child without duplicate in infinity, irreplaceable in all eternity. This is a child who has a unique gift to manifest on the planet. And so let us do what we can to support these children, and thank you, SafeKey friends, for what you do, to support this child so they can manifest that gift. My wife lost her brother to suicide. I know there are a number of you in the community here this morning who know of suicide victims. And I'm going to quote my other great philosopher friend, Chris Rock. That's not right. That's not right. And so it is my prayer and my dream and aspiration that Las Vegas would shine a light upon compassion and hope in such a way that communities around the world, and by the way, you may not know this, but you're part of a global community. Over 700 communities around the planet have lifted compassion and hope. So Ron Nirenberg of San Antonio and so many other mayors have adopted this, and I just want to thank Mayor Pro Tem. I want to thank the City Council. I want to thank especially my dear sister. I love you. And Mary Breadlaw. Mary Breadlaw is part of the Interfaith Council of Southern Nevada. I've known you for decades as well. I love you. And I thank you all for being here. So let's go out there and shine a light on hope.
Okay. And I got 10 minutes. I'm just kidding. We're going to do a quick picture up here with GARD. I want to thank everyone for coming out today. It's incredibly important for me that we acknowledge and celebrate hope within the city and acknowledge and celebrate hope within the city. Thank you for all that you do. Thank you.
You go around. I would go green and red and green. Come on.
Congratulations.
God bless you.
May I say something? I have to tell you a story. After 1989, we're both out by Sunrise Mountain at a meeting about human trafficking. And Pastor Troy was there, and I was asked to welcome everybody to the city and make some comment. So I made my background is in the same field, and so I made a generalized comment about the hardest thing with runaways, boys and girls, and we can all remember back to when we were probably 13, 14, 15. We thought we knew everything and that our parents weren't as wise as we once believed them to be. Some then decide to leave home absolutely without any thought of what was ahead. And here, Las Vegas, place where you can pretty much survive in total anonymity until you realize you can't earn a dime. People aren't going to hire you to babysit, and you can't get the job at 14 and 15 that you thought you could. And so you're trafficked, and I remember mentioning, how do you reach this very diverse, spread out population? How do we get to them? And I said, the one place I know that a trafficked individual can get away from his or her pimp is in the restroom. And what if we put signs up in every public restroom door, especially for the girls, because we have our own bathrooms, not the guys, but certainly for the girls, on every door, that if in fact you have problems, call this number, borrow somebody's phone, because they probably are being watched the whole time. Call this number, stay where you are, and we'll be out. And I said, but it needs money. And far in the back, and I can't see without my reading or far away glasses, I saw a tall person, very tall person, raise his hand and say, I will give you that check right now for every airport bathroom and every public bathroom that we can place a paper ad on the door. And God bless this man if he didn't do it right away. And that piece of information probably has saved several hundreds of runaways. I mean, that's just one example, and it's always here. So the man, the smile, it's permanent, that's real, and it is true. And he has been like this from the first day I met him. So the fact the sign isn't big enough, I've asked Mr. Riggleman and Mr. Radke to get a bigger, better sign. Now we know why. Oh, pass the buck. See, that's where you learn it. It's yours. But anyway, this is beautiful, and you have another 3 minutes. Okay. Thank you, Guard. Thank you. What a wonderful man. After the fact. Thank you. Okay, so we're off to the, how many minutes? Just transfer over? 5 minutes, everyone. And thank you for joining us. Okay, we are reconvening now, starting with agenda item 7, public comment. Public comment during this portion of the agenda must be limited to matters on the agenda for action. The amount of time any single speaker is allowed may be limited. All comments made will be cross-referenced to those specific items. If anyone submitted a speaker card or wishes to speak under this portion of the agenda, please come to the podium, state your name for the record. It's your opportunity to address council, but council will not respond or engage in dialogue in this moment. So we'll set the time at 1 moment. You have another opportunity at the end of the entire agenda. Hearing and seeing no one, we will move on to agenda 8. For possible action, any items from the 9:30 a.m. session that the council staff and or applicant wish to be stricken, tabled, withdrawn, or held in abeyance to a future meeting may be brought forward and acted upon at this time. Mayor Pro Tem Knudsen, please.
Madam Mayor, I have one item. It's item 4923-0467, VAR1. Applicant is Maria Rodriguez. Owner is Raul Gill and Maria Gill at 1201 South Commerce Street. There's an abeyance request by the applicant for the April 3rd, 2024 City Council meeting. That's my motion.
Thank you very much. There's a motion on an abeyance item. Please vote and please post. The motion has passed unanimously on our screen and will be coming to yours shortly. And we'll just move on to agenda item 9 in the interim, which is for possible action to approve the final minutes by reference to the February 7th, 2024 regular City Council meeting. Mayor Pro Tem, may I have a motion on the minutes, please?
Move to approve the minutes.
Thank you. There's a motion to approve the minutes. Please vote. Please post. And I'm sure that was an easy one. All right, agenda item 10. Items 10 through 38 on the consent agenda are considered to be routine, recommended for approval by the departments, and may be enacted in one motion. May I have a motion, Mayor Pro Tem, for the consent agenda items 10 through 38?
Move to approve the consent agenda items 10 through 38.
Thank you. Please vote and please post. And that motion carries. We'll move on to agenda item 39, discussion for possible action regarding the appointment of an interim caretaker municipal court judge, Department 5, from the following nominees. And this is a $2,584 amount from the general fund. And I understand, Mayor Pro Tem, you have a... Oh, okay.
Morning, Mayor Goodman, Mayor City Council, Mike Jansen, City Manager. With me today I have...
Good morning, Mayor Council. Vince Zamora, Director of Human Resources.
Good morning. Just to set up today's agenda item, I want to give you a little bit of background. Today we're here with this particular item as a follow-up to an agenda item that we had back on February 7th. On February 7th, we had an agenda item looking for direction from City Council as it relates to how you want to address, at the time, an upcoming vacancy of a municipal court judge. And on that February 7th date, we got some direction from y'all directing our HR team to establish an interest list for a caretaker, a municipal court judge. Judge Kearns retired just the other day. He retired on Tuesday. And so we're here today to take the next step in that action to fill that vacancy on an interim temporary basis. And so I'm going to turn the mic over to Vince to walk you through the steps that he took to develop the interest list, and we'll go from there. Vince?
Thank you, Mike. Good morning. Once again, for the record, Vince Zamora, Director of Human Resources. Per your direction from the meeting in February, HR solicited interest of candidates by submitting a posting to the Nevada State Bar Association, the Clark County Bar Association, and the UNLV Boyd School of Law, as well as on our city website for a period of 7 days. 3 individuals expressed interest in the opportunity. 2 individuals, Mark Rouse and Peter Cleary, met the following minimum requirements. Must be devoted full-time to the duties of the office, must be duly licensed member in good standing with the State Bar of Nevada, not currently subject to disciplinary action by the State Bar of Nevada or any other court or tribunal, not have been removed from judicial office, and must be a qualified electorate residing within the city of Las Vegas. My staff performed a review of the two finalists, or the two individuals, and they all met that criteria. Based on this information and his experience and qualifications, the municipal court judges and administration recommended Peter Cleary for your consideration.
Thank you very much. Do we have any comments? Yes, now please, Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. And prior to any further consideration, I would like to invite Mr. Cleary to the dais to confirm and state publicly that he meets the minimum requirements as stated by Mr. Zamora, and that he understands the appointment is temporary. And Mr. Cleary, I'm assuming that's you. You could state your name for the record and make those comments, please.
Peter Cleary, and I do meet all of the minimum requirements as stated by these two gentlemen right here. And I do understand that it's temporary and that I couldn't run for the seat even if it was still open for filing.
Thank you, Mr. Cleary. And unless there's any other comments up here, when you're ready, Madam Mayor, I'm ready to make a motion.
Okay.
I make a motion to appoint Peter Cleary as a caretaker until a permanent judge is elected in the 2024 municipal election. And just to put on the record, with appreciation for everyone who applied for the position, it's always a competitive process. Mr. Cleary, thank you very much for applying.
Thank you.
Thank you, and there is that motion. Please vote. And our thanks to Cedric Kearns, whose place you are taking over now for these interim months. Thank you, a job well done in youth court. Thank you. Motion carries. We'll move on to agenda item 40, hearing and discussion for possible action regarding complaint for disciplinary action against Dollar Express Plus LLC, Faye Tucker, managing member, and Ramon Williams, managing member, whose place of business located 1012 West Owens, Las Vegas, Nevada 89106, is holder of general retail sales license number G67-06725 and tobacco dealer license number G68-03313 for violations of the Las Vegas Municipal Code in Ward 5, and this is with Councilman Creer. So, good morning.
Okay. Good morning, Your Honor, council members. Deputy City Attorney John Curtis. With me, before we begin, I'd like to introduce our newest Deputy City Attorney, excuse me. I'm getting my ex-employers mixed up here. Deputy City Attorney Paul Mata, who has recently joined the city attorney staff.
Wonderful.
And will be taking over for me when I retire in August. So we are showing him the ropes right now. So
wow.
Breaking him in with his first council meeting. So thank you very much. Yes, we're here on the Dollar General Store matter. John Curtis for the city of Las Vegas. With me is Seth Floyd and Mr. Mata. Also, I believe one of the managing members of Dollar Express LLC is present, and if I may, we'd like to begin our presentation and then turn it to the gentleman to my right who wants to address the council as well. Is that okay?
Yes.
All right. So I'll begin with Director Seth Floyd giving the presentation as far as the factual background for why we wish to revoke this license. The business has been closed. It was actually out of business even before we filed the complaint. So I think the revocation is something of a mere formality at this point, but I still think we should make a record and let the gentleman have an opportunity to speak. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Mayor. Seth Floyd, for the record, Director of Community Development, and I'll just kind of hit some of the highlights. So you have the backup materials in your files. And I think all of you have been briefed kind of on the general concept. I'll go through a few of those to get them on the record. And as Mr. Curtis said, they are closed and have not been operating since November of 2023. But Dollar Express is owned by Faye Tucker, managing member, and Ramon Williams, also managing member, operated at 1012 West Owens Avenue. Their license categories, they had a general retail sales license and a tobacco dealer license. The business, as I said, has closed. There's a new tenant that's occupying the location. However, the reason why we're still bringing this to you today is the seriousness of the findings and the way that they were operated in the city. We wanted to make a record of those and officially have that license revoked. And just if you're wondering what the implication of revoking the license is, it means that those two managing members cannot apply for the same license in the city for 1 year, so it comes with a cooling off period, effectively is what that is. Dollar Express was approved on May 19, 2019 for their general business licenses to sell cleaning supplies, personal care, hardware, school supplies, party supplies, water, juice, and cigarettes. We then received an application on March 10th of 2020 for a, quote, Get Active Foundation to operate at the same location as a banquet hall. However, it was under different ownership, and the application was denied because that space already had an operating business license for the Dollar Express, which at that time was operating like a convenience store. During a field check a few months later, which was during our COVID ambassador inspections, on September 9th, 2020, the license officer learned that the owner, Mr. Williams, did intend to add the banquet establishment, but not at that time, and we informed him of the building and safety requirements and the licensing requirements for such a business. On April 19th, 2022, we received a complaint indicating that the location was operating an unlicensed hookah lounge. A field check was conducted, and while at that time we did not find the hookah operation, we did issue a courtesy notice. Then on June 1st of 2022, a business card for, quote, Jam Down Hookah Lounge was left on a city vehicle for the same location. After a site inspection, Mr. Williams told the license officer that this was a mistake. His employees put out the incorrect business cards. However, upon further inspection, officers found in the back of the retail store that there was a large warehouse with a pool table, a bar, and banquet-style tables were set up. Mr. Williams explained that was explained to again and educated again on what business activity was allowed and what was not at this location. On July 18th, 2023, the Special Investigations Section of Metro contacted our license officers to inform us that parties were being hosted in the warehouse space. They then did a joint inspection, and we were a part of that with SIS, taxation, and our team. The warehouse area was searched, and alcohol and illegal drugs were found, and Mr. Williams was taken into custody at that time. So those are the facts that form most of the background. As of November, the establishment was closed, and the licenses have been marked out of business. And on January 11th of this year, we did a new site visit to confirm that a new tenant is now occupying the space, so they're no longer operating at this location. So that's our license officer summary and the Metro report summary, and then if Mr. Williams has anything to add on his side, or I'll turn it back over to him and to Mr. Curtis.
Hello, how you doing?
Good morning. And your name, if you would just repeat.
My name is Ramon Williams from Dollar Express Plus. You know, I just want to add to the record, Faye Tucker, my ex-wife, we was no longer together, so she should not be a part of this, but she is on this. And I received this on the 24th. I mean, it says something about me being as far as here on the 17th. I received this after the date. So therefore, you know, I really can't, I mean, you know, I really don't have the understanding of what's really going on, but the way he broke it down to me as far as, you know, is to suspend my business license for a year or whatever. And I was not, as far as with my business, I was not given no, as far as functions there, you know, it was things for me, where, you know what I'm saying, it's the back of my store. You know what I'm saying? I would, you know, as far as I had a bar back there for me. You know what I'm saying? After work, when you're going through it. You know what I'm saying? So, and the drugs that was found was for me. You know, it was for, like, you know, I was going through a divorce. You know what I'm saying? I choose to take ecstasy. That was my problem. So it was found. So, you know, it was nothing going on there illegally, for the record. I'm a law-abiding citizen. This is my 5th business in Las Vegas. Wow. And, you know, I just need a little understanding of what's going on right here, because I received this late, and I don't, you know, I don't have no attorney or nobody defend me. And, you know, I'm dealing with a hardship right now. My woman just committed suicide, and it's just like I'm just going through it. You know what I'm saying? You know, just for the record. And, you know, I don't know if it's for a fine or what. You know, I know I received something in the mail for a fine, but being that my woman that committed suicide, I was going through something. So it was like they said, you have 30 days to pay a fine or whatever. So I'm kind of confused right now. Is it about the fine, or is it about closing down the business? You know, just for the record.
Let me speak to that, Mr. Williams, if I could, because I've been in touch with Ms. Tucker, the other managing member of the LLC, as late yesterday afternoon, and I assuaged her fears in the same way. The business has been closed. It's no longer in operation. All we're doing is revoking the business license.
No problem.
We're not seeking any fine or penalties against you.
Okay.
There will be a 1-year hiatus between today and when you may apply for another business license in the city of Las Vegas. But there are no other negative repercussions towards you individually other than losing this business license.
No problem.
Does that clarify for you, sir?
I appreciate it.
Yes.
Sure.
Yes, thank
So
you.
with that in mind, Your Honor, I'd ask the council to vote on the revocation of the business license for Desert Dollar Express Plus LLC, located at 1012 West Owens Avenue.
Thank you. I'm going to ask Councilman Creer to speak.
Thank you, Mr. Williams, and thank you to our team. I don't think there's the need to hash this out further. I'm going to agree with your recommendation and make a motion for approval of item 40.
Thank you. There's a motion to,
I wish you all the best, Mr. Williams.
thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I've got a year. I mean, I've probably got time to figure things out, and we'll see you back, man.
Yeah.
Your business going and contributing to our community.
Thank you, man.
Generating tax base and employing people.
Amen.
Let's make it happen, man.
Amen.
All right.
God bless you.
God bless you.
Have a good night.
And that motion carries, and we wish you, as Councilman Creer said, the best going forward, and our condolences and prayers are with you and your family.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
God bless you.
And welcome. Hard shoes to fill here. I know. So what are you going to be doing now that you're telling us now that you're retiring and all?
I'm not necessarily retiring from the practice of law, but I may be re-entering private practice in a minor key. Not
as long as you're still a food critic.
Yeah. I'll still be a restaurant critic until the day I die, yes. And I have the girth to prove it.
We know it, so thank you very much, both of you. We'll move on to agenda item 41, discussion for possible action regarding approval of complaint to set a hearing date for disciplinary action against KNK Property Management LLC DBA Travelers Bed and Breakfast and Hope Kwan Managing Member, whose place of business is 1502 South Las Vegas Boulevard, Las Vegas, Nevada 89101, as holders of hotel license number G6305293 and residence hostel single room license number G6305479 for violations of the Las Vegas Municipal Code. This is in Ward 3 with Councilwoman Diaz.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'll turn it over to Director Floyd, or would you like to give a brief, let me do it?
You can do it.
All right. Yes, Your Honor. This is simply to vote on the approval of a complaint involving the Travelers Bed and Breakfast at 3rd and Utah. There have been a number of calls for service. Metro has been concerned with this location for some time now. There have been stabbings, there have been homicides, there have been all kinds of issues going back into last year. And given the calls for service and the degree of violence and vagrancy and drug activity in and around this bed and breakfast, we think a revocation of the license or a disciplinary action seeking revocation of the license is warranted. It is my understanding, too, that Metro is looking to do an emergency shutdown of the premises as well, almost imminently. But so insofar as that goes, our civil complaint is going to go hand in glove with the emergency shutdown, and we're asking for a rather shortened time frame in which to have a hearing, and I'm going to request that the council approve a hearing date of March 20th, the next council meeting, in which time we will have both the shutdown by Metro and service of the complaint, if so approved by the council.
And by the owners, or are they here?
Well, they have not been served with the complaint yet, Your Honor. We're just approving this complaint to be served, which will be done immediately. And because of the severity of the activities in and around this business, we're going to ask for a much shortened time frame. Usually it's within 90 days. It has to be within 90 days by code. We're going to ask that it be put on the agenda for a hearing at the next council meeting. Thank you.
What are the cross streets, please?
3rd in Utah.
3rd in Utah.
Sort of right across from the old Olympic Garden, I think, right around there.
Yeah. Okay.
in that area.
Any questions, comments here before I turn them over? Councilwoman, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I have been informed by the captain of the Downtown Area Command, and he's been keeping me abreast of all of the issues. And I do feel that expediency is warranted in this situation. So knowing everything that I do know, I'm going to move to approve this complaint and set the hearing date for March 20th of 24.
Thank you very much. It's a motion for continuance on the March 20th calendar agenda. Please vote. I'm trying. I vote aye. There it is. Thank you. And that motion carries. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Agenda item 42, discussion for possible action regarding the reappointment of Vicki Quinn, my designee, Matt Tramp, Ward 1, Aaron Bautista, Ward 3, Liz Becker, Ward 4, Warren Evans, Ward 5, as neighborhood representatives and staff designee Brenda Flank, Ward 4, Tanya Jackson Ranter, Ward 5, and Mateo Beers, Ward 6, and the appointment and nominee Rashan Vasudevan, Ward 2, and Michelle Hardy, Ward 6, as neighborhood representatives, and Maria Trevino, Ward 1, Nick Lewis, Ward 2, Ido Uraldi, Ward 3, and staff designees, the Neighborhood Partners Fund Board, all wards. In 2010, the bylaws were amended as a housekeeping measure to clarify that members need not be city residents. Procedure for this board is appointment by the mayor and council. I move to approve these appointments and reappointments as I just read and listed. Would you please vote and post? Thank you, and that carries. And we'll move on to agenda item 43. Discussion for possible action regarding the appointment of nominee Brian Wilkitz to Ward 1, seat of Parks and Recreation Advisory Commission. Almendra Johnson occupied one of the Ward 1 seats. Her terms expired. Mr. Wilkitz is eligible and wishes to serve. Mayor Pro Tem, are you prepared to make that motion, please?
Yes, Mayor. Move to approve Mr. Vokitz with appreciation for his time and service and appreciation for Mrs. Almendra for serving for the past year.
Thank you. Please vote. And that motion carries. Move on to agenda item 44, recommending committee bills eligible for adoption at a later meeting. Those are items 44 through 46. Bills number 2023-28, 2024-6, 2024-7 will be heard in a later meeting. And we will move on to new bills. Item number 47, bill number 20248, will be heard at the recommending committee meeting on Monday, March 18, 2024. City Attorney, will you please read the new bills?
Thank you, ma'am. I will. Jeff Dorkek, City Attorney. I'm going to be assisted again by our City Attorney's Office spring semester law student extern, Royce Pereira, who's here for his last day in City Hall after 6 weeks. He will be going over to the municipal court to prosecute some crimes for 6 weeks with our criminal division starting next week. So I'm going to let Royce let her rip with number 47 here.
Thank you. Bill number 2024-8, an ordinance to repeal and replace LVMC 19.10.020 pertaining to the C-V Civic Zoning District to provide updated standards and procedures for that district and to provide for other related matters.
Thank you very much, and thank you for being with us. Good luck as you go across the street. New bill number 2024-8 is assigned to the March 18, 2024 recommending committee members, Councilman Knudsen and Councilwoman Seaman Polensky. If any so designated are unable to attend, the clerk's office will coordinate finding substitutes as necessary at my direction, please.
Will do. Thank you.
Thank you. We're into community development consent. Items 48 through 48D are on the consent agenda, considered to be routine and recommended for approval by the Department of Community Development. Mayor Pro Tem, may I have a motion to approve this consent agenda?
Move to approve the consent agenda.
Thank you. Please vote on the motion. Please post. And that motion carries. And we're on to 49's been obeyed, correct? To April 3rd? Pardon?
Oh, April 3rd. April 3rd.
April 3. Okay. And now we're on to then for an agenda item 50, 230551 on the following land use entitlement project request on 18.77 acres northeast corner of Harris Avenue, Marion Drive, CV Civic Zone, 51A 230551 Vieira 1 to allow deviations from Title 19.10 C-V Civic Development Standards, 50B 230551 Vieira 2 to allow 327 parking spaces where 360 are required, and to allow 3 loading spaces where 4 loading spaces are required. Number 50C 230551 SDR1 proposed 2-story, 134,066 square feet public secondary school. The applicant is the Clark County School District. The owner is the School Board of Trustees. The Planning Commission recommends approval. Staff recommends denial on the entire land use entitlement project. These are in Ward 3 with Councilwoman Diaz. Are public hearings which I declare open. And we now turn to... Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Mayor. If you would like staff to go first, I can do that. As Peter Lowenstein, Deputy Planning Director for the record, and we have the applicant here.
Okay, let's hear from us first, and we'll go to the applicant.
Sure thing. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. You know what? Forget that. Let's hear from the applicant. I'm backwards. You're absolutely right. Good morning.
Morning. So Mayor Goodman, members of the council, Councilwoman Diaz, Brandon McLaughlin, Assistant Superintendent for the Clark County School District, here to present for the record. So I'm here to present today the Robeson Early College Choice High School land use application. So the school will be our first of the choice options that were approved by the Board of Trustees in late 2021. Now this school is intended to better utilize an under-enrolled and honestly deteriorating building to the betterment of our entire region. Now the focus of this school is to fill a very urgent need, which will be teacher training and social worker focused school to home grow some of our educators to strengthen our education in our community. The plan for you is a very massaged site plan that was a great collaboration. We appreciate the councilwoman and city staff, and in particular collaboration with the neighbors and some community through stakeholder meetings and one-on-one engagements. We were able to accomplish a few things different than what we went in with that was to the betterment of the project. So we were able to eliminate one driveway here along Harris. We were also able to densify and enhance some of the landscaping located by the field, as well as additional traffic control and speed control devices along the Marion and Harris here. So with that, I want to thank Councilwoman for her continued support of the district, again to city staff, and for their meaningful work to move this very beneficial project forward. With that, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Peter Lowenstein, once again, for the record. So the Las Vegas 2050 Master Plan encourages the city to support the Clark County School District in fast-tracking school construction and to avoid barriers to school expansion and replacements. However, while staff is generally supportive of new school development, there are several design-related issues that have precipitated the need for a variance, and as such, staff cannot support the variances as recommended denial on the applications. If approved, there are a number of amended and conditions that we would like to put on the record. As you can see on the overhead, this is a new site plan that is not in your backup materials, so this would be one of the conditions that we'd be addressing. So if you would bear with me, I would read these amended conditions into the record.
Please go ahead.
So we would be looking to amend condition number 3 of 23-0551-SDR1. It would read, all development shall be in conformance with the site plan date stamped 3/6 of 24, landscape plan date stamped 11/14 of 23, and building elevations date stamped 10/17 of 23, except as amended by conditions herein. In addition to that, we would look to amend condition number 11 of the same SDR. The site development shall conform to the approved site plan, date stamped March 6th of 2024, with the driveway number and locations as depicted thereon. The applicant shall coordinate design of the speed cushions and crosswalks associated with the approved site plan, subject to final approval by the city traffic engineer at civil plan review, and shall construct such improvements concurrently with the development of the site. In addition to those amended conditions, I have one added condition. That condition would read, a revised landscape plan shall be submitted to and approved by the Department of Community Development prior to the time application is made for civil improvement plans to reflect consistency of site design with that of the submitted site plan date stamp 3/6 of 24. Thank you.
And has that been submitted back, and does the district approve of those recommendations or mandates?
Yeah, Brandon McLaughlin for the record. Yeah, we have heard these conditions and worked through them when we accept them.
Okay, thank you very much. Any questions? Public hearing two. Anyone, please come forward, state your name for the record. Is there a bigger map, Mr. Lowenstein, that shows the area around it, or just this one? Because it doesn't show the residents. Excellent.
All right, the PowerPoint presentation would have an aerial or a location map which kind of just show you the area surrounding it. It's on your screen now.
And is this currently a lower or middle school property? I want to get it on the record.
It's a middle school, Madam Mayor.
And the name?
It's Del H. Robeson Middle School. Actually, it's named after a late grandfather to Mr. Randy Robeson, if you didn't know.
Oh. Okay. Please state your name for the record, and you can pull the microphone down towards you a little bit. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
My name's Rena Lombardo. I live at 4851 East Harris Avenue, and I oppose this. I don't want it to happen because I don't want a 375 or a 360 car parking lot across from my master bedroom window. And I met with some people from the school district a week ago, and they showed me where perhaps maybe they moved the entrance down a little bit, but they moved the entrance right to my other driveway, where I have two windows, one facing west in my living room where the park light comes in and shines on me, and my mother sleeps out there, and now the cars are going to be coming in at early in the morning and disturbing her sleep, and she's 93 years old. So I oppose this.
And which residents can you, Mr. Lowenstein, is there any way we can show that on this?
I know they don't want to change and do anything, flip it to the other side. I'm at 4851 Harris Avenue right here. And so I would like to see, and in the meeting, we asked them to move the parking lot down to the street Marcos, the entrance. I'm sorry.
Okay.
And so it would be across. It would be easier for people to access and go through. We also would like to have speed bumps down on Greenbrook Street too, because all the traffic is going that way.
Okay.
I mean, we're thankful for the speed bumps, or whatever you call it, speed cushions along Harris Avenue and Mariner there around on the other side. But, could we just please take the entrance of the parking lot away from my property, please?
And if it were
I beg you on
moved,
hand,
would it
please.
affect the other residences? I know you've been working on this for a long time, but just if it were to move, and it's because of your request, it is just moving the entry that would just be somebody else's residence apart. So The question is there no other way to enter that parking area?
So Brandon McLaughlin for the record, Clark County School District. We did work. The driveway was located straight down here at one point, which was directly across from the neighbor's driveway. We were able to locate it approximately 150 feet to the west to accommodate that request.
So I gather you've been having these meetings, Councilwoman? And so, I mean, rather you have the discussion and any comment to make on that.
I know that at the end of the day, it's always difficult when you're having a new site plan to review, and from the district side, you have a new campus you're trying to design, construct. I know that per my conversations, the district has moved the needle in terms of traffic flow patterns. I think, you know, them eliminating 2 entry points, now down to 1, will hopefully reroute traffic the way that we want the traffic to flow in the future. And I've been reassured by the school district that actually the count of students will be lowered versus where it currently stands. So as they share that information with me, if the student counts are going down versus increasing, it's probably going to be a similar dynamic with the high school set up, because there will be kids that get bussed in, there will be kids that get dropped off, but not all of them necessarily will be driving themselves. So I feel confident that because the student count is coming down, we don't need to feel such apprehension, because this is not a huge magnet campus accommodating thousands of students. So, and they've worked diligently with us. I know they've kept the residents in the loop about the changes. I feel confident that through these changes, we're ahead, and we're going to actually have a review within, I can't remember how many days we stated yesterday in the meeting. So after the school campus opens, there's going to be a traffic review, I think 60 days after opening, to make sure that we caught everything and that everything is as efficient as possible. And if not, then we're going to go back and tweak and make those changes to ensure that we stay on top of traffic concerns and what it means for my neighbors. So I feel that we've made some progress. I think we've shifted to being in front of it versus behind it, and I think this is sometimes we're going to just have a happy middle, not entirely static middle, but at least we've moved the needle a little bit more. And the speed cushions condition that Mr. Lowenstein just articulated is to make sure that where the speed cushions are placed doesn't hinder and impact a driveway of a neighbor of mine. Well, I don't want a speed cushion laid right where it's going to be detrimental to the ingress and egress of my neighbors. And so that's why that condition is there, because traffic will then sit down with Clark County to determine where the speed cushions go. To, 1, manage the velocity, but 2, make sure that there's minimal impact on people having to back out and also do their daily lives and commuting as they're used to.
So I think those comments, I see a gentleman here. Are you together on this, or?
Yes.
I'm her neighbor.
Okay, and you want to state your name for the record and make your comments if you have to?
My name's Lloyd Stevens. I live at 4887 Harris.
Okay.
Gosh, it's small enough I can't see. I believe it's this one. My request has been, and I appreciate Brandon, meeting with Brandon last week, and Patricia, about the revisions that they have done. I appreciate the hard parking, so that I don't get drifters and speeders in there at 2 o'clock in the morning to wake me up. I do appreciate that, and the additional landscaping that's been talked about. My concern at the moment, and I've talked to Councilman Diaz and talked with Brandon, there is a horse egress in front of my house right now. It's 19 feet from my property line to the city street. My concern has been if we end up putting curb and gutter there and sidewalks for the additional traffic and for the children to go back and forth to school. I don't want to have to pay for that. Brandon has talked to me about that. There is a slight possibility, and so that's my concern on that. As far as the horse bridle path, the streets behind me have the bridle path, and the bridle path goes right directly into the new park that was put there last year. And so I don't feel that if they did the curb and gutter here, it would affect the horse property, the residential estates part of that. The park has curb and gutter down to this point, so my request is down to here for that, the traffic and everything that goes there. And I appreciate the speed humps, speed cushions, whatever we want to call them. One thing I was a little worried about, there's a lot of rednecks out there, self-included. If we do speed humps in the street, there's 19 feet of dirt that a four-wheel drive truck will be driving on through there at whatever the speed limit is. So that's my concern about this project. As far as the school and everything, I have no complaints about the school and what they're doing on that.
Thank you. All your comments are very valid, and I see Councilwoman is shaking her head, so hopefully that conversation, more answers will be realized.
I know that I have someone from our traffic department who I just want to ask a few questions, because I know that we talked internally about the concerns about the need for curb and gutter, but then also wanting to respect that it is an equestrian zone and people enjoy getting on their horses, and they appreciate not having the curb and gutter and having still that dirt for that purpose. So can you remind me what we said would be the most efficient marriage and harmonizing of everything happening there with the residents' needs and the school needs? I'm sure you remember, because I have so many different conversations, I can't pinpoint exactly what we landed on in that vein.
Yep. Sean Robinson, Assistant City Traffic Engineer, for the record. Just to follow up, we don't have any current plans to put in curb and gutter around here because of input we received from residents. That is a concern in putting speed cushions or speed humps adjacent to where there is no curb and gutter. Usually what we do in this case is we would put some type of sign or an object marker that you might see along the road that would help prevent people to drive around the speed cushion. So it is something that we'll continue to work with the residents to locate these speed cushions as not to impact their driveways, and something that we will consider moving forward.
I've seen that around town where there are humps and dirt next to it. The wrong drivers will absolutely avoid the hump.
So I'm thinking, could there be some raised mechanism right before you hit that dirt that we could be installing? Maybe a few here and there flags, just to prevent, you know, the access, I guess, to that. And I definitely put myself in the shoes of my residents, and I'm like, if I'm one of those homes, they're constantly going to be kind of going faster, and then all that dust comes towards my property line. And obviously we're trying to prevent speeders, one, because it's a school, but two, the safety of the residents in the homes.
Right, and so we'll have to balance that with putting objects off of the road like that, because we want to make sure that they're well reflective, so that people don't accidentally hit those. Yeah, we would put some additional signs as you would approach that in advance of the speed cushion, so to make it more difficult to drive around.
Okay. Could that be part of the condition, just to look at to make sure that or is that already captured?
Yeah, those signage and markings are part of the standard detail that we provide for speed cushions.
Okay.
Okay, and I would like our first speaker to come back up. And I mean, this is how you resolve things, is if we hear what the issues are. A new one just brought up, a councilwoman, is the dirt that absolutely is blown up as the cars come off the road to avoid the hump.
My name's Rena Lombardo. I live at 4851 Harris Avenue. I hear exactly what you're saying about the speed bumps. When I moved in out there were no houses surrounding. Washington didn't go through, and the people that lived in my home before me, they had like rocks going all the way out towards the street. And I've come along and I've put dirt up higher, and I've kept them rocks. I know I'm way over on the property line, but I was out in the middle of the desert when there was nobody there. Now we have the city upon us. And so if the city was to come along and just raise the ground up or dump some more dirt where the horses could walk through there, that would stop the people from exiting around them speed bumps into the homes. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes. Good suggestion. All right, they'll continue to move forward.
The traffic
on this,
folks
I
will
think.
definitely be analyzing the best thing to deploy to then, and then if the first pitch doesn't, you will be letting me know so that I get back on them saying we gotta maybe raise that elevation. I don't know what the solution will be. I'm not a traffic engineer, so I'm deferring to the folks that have the experience because they have other equestrian areas that they're familiar with, like in Councilwoman Bruni and Polensky's area. They kind of may have deployed other things that we don't know, and until we don't see it, we won't get it, right? But rest assured, we'll stay on top of it.
Is there any way that we, me and Lloyd, could get this in writing, what's going to happen here?
So you
we'd
just
sure
call
appreciate it.
Councilwoman Diaz's
Yes.
office and make
Idolina-
sure she has all your information.
Idolina
and
will
she'll
reach
follow.
out, and then we'll share the site map with you with the conditions that are being adopted to this site map, because there's still some things we have to, keep talking through and make sure that it's to the betterment of the neighborhoods, and then we'll keep communication lines open, coming back and forth.
Thank you very much
Thank you
for
very
coming
much.
down.
Thank you, and enjoy your retirement, and thank you for all that you've done for us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, is there anyone else who would like to make public comment? I'm going to close public comment.
Madam Mayor,
then.
I just want to also address one concern with the city manager. So, Mr. Johnson, it's not lost on me that sometimes things are requested. Maybe there comes a point in time where there's not very many horses, and people are saying, well, maybe we do need the sidewalk and the curb and the gutter. I just want to alleviate the concern on my residents. If in the future we were going to move down that road, it's not necessarily always going to be the onus on the resident, correct? If the city had some means, some grant opportunities, some funding, and in the future, and I'm talking probably way after my time here, this isn't something we automatically impose, correct? There could be a way that we do it without having to put the cost on our neighbors.
Yeah, Mike Jensen, City Manager. Councilwoman, I'd give you the best example of what you're alluding to would be the job we just did on Harris Avenue from Mojave all the way to Bruce. We just did a safe route to school upgrade. Many portions of that corridor had no sidewalk, curb gutter, or streetlights. And working with the residents, there was a desire to see those improvements, so we secured funding to do that project, not an SID. So I think what the residents are referring to is there's some corridors in the city where some residents would like to see those improvements done, where we haven't secured a Safe Route to School project grant, and we've used the Special Improvement District, and that's where the residents would essentially be paying for those improvements. But I think in this case, where we have schools in the area, and we have a recognition of rural properties where they've not wanted curb gutter sidewalk on that side of the street, it would be one of those corridors where Joey and her team would put it on the list for school areas where we would look for competitive grants so that we could plan for future Safe Route to School upgrades.
Thank you.
I just wanted to make sure you didn't have to lose any sleep over it. We're not going to impose any hardship in terms of finances on you. If I can guarantee you, while I hold this seat, I'll be making sure that that doesn't go on your plate. Okay.
So at this point, public comment's been closed, and it's back to you. Unless council, any questions? I think we're good here. So back to you, Carol.
All right, and so we heard that the school district has been very amenable to our conditions and continue to work through. I appreciate you slowing down this process to get to this point where we're in a better place than we felt initially and addressing our neighbors' concerns and getting, it's important sometimes. We want to be proud of where we live, but I feel that we've done as much as we can to listen to all sides and make sure we're putting the best foot forward. So with that, I'm going to move to approve agenda item 50, A, B, and C with the amended conditions that Mr. Lowenstein stated previously. Is there any extra that need to be accounted for, Mr. Lowenstein?
The amended and added condition all on the site development review.
Amended and added conditions that were articulated.
Okay.
That
To
is
which
my
you
motion.
agree for the district.
Brandon McLaughlin, for the record, yes, we do.
Thank you very much. All right, there's a motion. Please vote and please post. Now, motion carries, and you will stay in touch with Councilwoman Diaz, please. Okay, we'll move on to agenda item 51. Mr. Riggleman.
Good morning, Mayor, Council members. For the record, I'm Communications Director David Riggleman. I'm joined this morning by Jason Morato from the ETC Institute. Jason is a Vice President with that organization. As you know, ETC is the organization that we use, the company we use to do our community-wide surveys. And Jason is here to give us the results of our most recent survey that took place at the end of 2023. I should mention this is the 10th community-wide survey that the City of Las Vegas has done over the years. It's the 7th by ETC. A number of years ago, we switched over to ETC because not only could they help us benchmark our own performance year over year, but they do surveys across the entire country. So we're able to benchmark our performance against communities our size, smaller, bigger, all across the United States. Jason will talk more about all of that. Councilman Diaz, I should also mention to you, you had asked this question in the past. People obviously could participate in the survey in English, but they could also participate in Spanish if they so chose, and Jason can talk more about that as well. So without further ado, I'll turn it over to Jason, and he'll tell us how we did this past time around. Jason, it's all yours.
Thank you. Welcome back.
Great, thank you. This is the slide here, so this is forward and this is backwards. Perfect, great, thank you. Great, thanks. It's great to be back here in Las Vegas. My name is Jason Morato with the ETC Institute, and we're a marketing and research firm that specializes in conducting community surveys for local governments. And as David said, we just finished for the 7th time that we've conducted the community survey for the city, 10th time overall the survey's been conducted. So today I'm going to walk through the key findings from the survey. I just have a little background about ETC Institute. We're based in the Kansas City area, but we're a national leader in providing market research for local governments. We've been doing this type of work for over 40 years, and in the last 10 years alone, we've conducted surveys in more than 1,000 communities across the country. So this is really the type of work we specialize in. This is just an overview of what I'll go through today. I will go over the purpose and methodology of the survey, walk through the key findings, summarize our main takeaways from the survey, and if there are any questions, I'll be happy to answer those. So there are several reasons to conduct a survey like this. One is to get an objective assessment of how satisfied Las Vegas residents are with major city services and to determine what residents feel are the top priorities for the community. We're also able to measure trends from your previous surveys and compare your results with other communities across the country. And as David said, those comparisons can be regional, they can be based on similar sized communities. So this survey was administered by a combination of mail and online to randomly selected residents throughout the city. We received a total of 912 completed surveys, and that includes at least 150 in each council ward. And our goal is to receive at least 900 citywide, so we accomplished that, and that's been our goal each time we've conducted the survey. The results of the 912 surveys at the 95% level of confidence has a margin of error of plus or minus 3.2%. Essentially, that means that if we conducted this survey the same way 100 times, 95 times the results would be plus or minus 3.2% from what we're reporting. So even for a statistically valid survey, the results are never perfect, but the margin of error is small. So here we have a map of the city. The dark black lines are the boundaries of the wards, and the red dots are households that completed a survey.
So we had a good distribution throughout the city, and as I mentioned, at least 150 completed surveys in each ward. And as we were administering the survey, we made sure that the demographics of survey respondents reflect the actual population of the city, especially for key demographic areas such as race and ethnicity, gender, and household income. So here's what we learned from the survey. The majority of survey respondents feel Las Vegas is a great place to live. We compare your results to other large communities, and we'll look at this in more detail in a little bit. But one of the areas that stood out is that Las Vegas rated 18 percentage points above the average of other large U.S. cities when it comes to the overall quality of city services. And that's one of the most important questions on the survey, because there we're asking residents to take into account all of the services that you're providing and really give an overall satisfaction rating for how well you're doing. And then another area that stood out when we compared your results to other large communities was customer service provided by city employees, where you rated 26 percentage points above the average of other large U.S. cities. And then the top overall priorities, and these are similar to previous years, maintenance of city streets, economic development, which we defined as jobs on the survey, and then police services. So first we'll look at some general perceptions residents have of Las Vegas. So we asked residents how they feel, whether or not they feel Las Vegas is a great place to live. The dark blue and light blue means respondents either strongly agree or agree that Las Vegas is a great place to live. The pink means they disagree, and then the gray are somewhere in the middle. So you can see that the majority of survey respondents feel Las Vegas is a great place to live. We also asked respondents if they would recommend the Las Vegas community as a place to live. So the dark blue and light blue are those who are very likely or likely to recommend Las Vegas as a place to live. The pink are those who are not likely. So again, the majority of respondents are likely to recommend the Las Vegas community as a place to live. Here we asked residents to rate their perceptions of the city in a number of different ways. So the dark blue are those who are very satisfied, the light blue is satisfied, the gray is neutral, which we interpret neutral as average or meeting expectations. It's a rating of a 3 on a 5-point scale. And then the pink are those who are dissatisfied. So if you look at the top of this chart, the majority of respondents are satisfied with the overall quality of life in their neighborhood. If you look at that second row down, 59% of respondents are satisfied with the overall quality of city services. That's compared to only 11% who are dissatisfied. So you have more than a 5-to-1 ratio of those who are satisfied versus dissatisfied with the overall quality of city services, which is an excellent ratio, especially for a larger city. Typically for large cities, the ratio is about 3 or 4-to-1. The only area that had really a significant level of dissatisfaction was the overall quality of public schools. This was the very first question on the survey. Here we asked residents to rate major categories of city services. So in this question, we're asking residents to rate these areas at the big picture departmental level. And then later on in the survey, we asked about some more specific areas within some of these categories. So again, the blue are the positive rating, the pink are the negative, the gray are neutral, in other words, average. Not a bad rating, but kind of in the middle. So most areas received high ratings. The only area that had a higher level of dissatisfaction than satisfaction was the overall maintenance of city streets. If you look at the top of this chart, the highest rated areas are fire services, sewer, emergency medical services, parks and recreation, city parks, community centers, and then overall quality of customer service. So we also found that satisfaction with the overall quality of city services is high in all parts of the city. So on this map, we broke the results out by city ward, and this tells us if residents in different parts of the city rate services differently or have different perceptions of the city. We create a map like this for every question on the survey asked on a 5-point scale, so there's about 100 maps in the report. There's just a couple we'll look at. This one is for the overall quality of city services. You can see the entire map is blue. So this tells us that residents in all parts of the city are satisfied with the overall quality of city services. And then this map is for customer service provided by city employees. Again, the entire map is blue, which tells us that residents in all parts of the city are satisfied with the level of customer service they're receiving from city employees. Sometimes what happens is, even if the ratings are very positive overall, once you break it into these smaller geographic areas, you might see some areas where residents are dissatisfied, but you can see that's not the case here. So we also compare your results to other communities. Overall, the level of satisfaction on this year's survey is lower than it was in 2021, but that's a trend we've seen all over the country, especially for large cities. So on this chart, we compared your results to other large cities, and this is based on a national survey that ETC Institute conducted last summer with residents all across the country who live in larger cities. The dark blue lines are the positive ratings for Las Vegas residents. The light blue are the satisfaction ratings for the national average for large U.S. cities. And you can see that in all 9 areas, your ratings are significantly above the average for large U.S. cities. A couple of areas that really stood out, and these are ones I mentioned on that earlier slide. If you look at the 4th row down, overall quality of services provided by the city, you have a 59% satisfaction rating, and the national average for large cities is only 41%. And again, that's one of the most important questions on the survey because we're asking residents to consider all the services that you're providing. And then if you look at the row below that, overall quality of customer service, you have a 58% satisfaction rating, which is almost double the national average for large U.S. cities of 32%. So now we'll look at top priorities. Earlier we saw how satisfied residents are with major categories of city services. As a follow-up question, we ask which of these services should receive the most emphasis from city leaders over the next 2 years. So you can see the top priority is overall maintenance of city streets. The other top priorities are police services and economic development. Those are really the top 3. Other high priorities include enforcing codes and ordinances and emergency medical services. This is something that we call the important satisfaction rating, and this analysis is based on 2 different types of data, both of which we've seen already. First, we ask residents how satisfied they are with city services, and then we ask which of these services are the most important for the city to emphasize, so which are the most important. And the idea behind this is that those areas that have a combination of low satisfaction ratings, but at the same time are the most important, should be the highest priorities to focus on. So this first table is for major categories of city services. The areas in pink are the highest priority, and that's overall maintenance of city streets, economic development, and police services. The areas in yellow are the next level of priority, and that includes enforcing codes and ordinances, downtown development, and then the overall effectiveness of city communication. Now the areas in green are a medium priority. The reason those rate a little bit lower is either because the importance is lower or the satisfaction already rates higher. Now this doesn't mean that the areas in green don't need any attention, but making improvements to areas in pink and yellow will impact the greatest number of residents. This is really a different way of looking at the same information. So this is those same major categories of city services. If you start at the top of this chart, those are the areas that had the highest satisfaction ratings. And as you move down, the level of satisfaction gets less and less. If you start to the right, those are the areas that residents rate as the most important. And as you move to the left, the importance gets less and less. So those items in that bottom right-hand quadrant where it says opportunities for improvement are the ones that have that combination of lower satisfaction but also higher importance. So you can see streets, economic developments, and police are in that quadrant. Downtown development and then enforcing codes and ordinances are in that quadrant as well, but just barely. They're closer to that center line. So now we're looking at the important satisfaction type analysis again. This one is specifically for maintenance services. You can see the top priorities are the cleanliness of streets and other public areas, street lighting, maintenance of sidewalks, and then maintenance of curbs and gutters on city streets. This is the important satisfaction rating specifically for public safety services. The top priorities are just overall efforts to prevent crime, the visibility of police in neighborhoods, how quickly police respond to emergencies, enforcing traffic laws, and then just the overall quality of police protection. These are the priorities for parks, recreation, cultural, and community services. So this chart includes a wide variety of different types of services. The top priority, by a pretty wide margin, is homeless services, and that's been a high priority really across the country in the past couple of years, but especially in larger cities. And then the second highest priority is senior citizen programs and centers. Other high priorities include walking and biking trails, arts, culture, and special events, and then youth enrichment programs. And then when we look at community development and beautification services, the top priorities are enforcing the cleanup and removal of junk and debris, neighborhood cleanups sponsored by the city, downtown parking access and information, graffiti removal, and then the exterior maintenance of residential properties. So that's everything that I had. Just a quick recap. We saw that the majority of respondents feel Las Vegas is a great place to live. The majority also would recommend Las Vegas as a place to live. You rate it above the national average for large U.S. cities in all 9 of those areas that we looked at, but a couple that really stood out were the overall quality of city services and then customer service provided by city employees. And then the top overall priorities, we looked at the priorities based on the different departments, but the overall priorities are the overall maintenance of city streets, economic development, and police services. So if anyone has any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Thank you. Any comments? Let's start with Councilwoman Seaman.
I just have a comment. I want to thank the ET Institute for conducting this survey, and Jason for coming to present it to us. I think what I would like to see is for the city staff to take what we learned in this survey and put forth a plan in one of our upcoming briefings about how we are already working on some of the areas of concern, or how we can plan to make improvements in the new areas of concerns that have been raised. I would love to see us make the improvements in the categories that we're lagging in against the regional and the national average. So thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, let's turn to Councilwoman Diaz and then Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Wow, it's sometimes I'm not feeling what the survey results per my office, right, on a daily basis. But it's nice to know that folks are seeing that their concerns are being heard. We're pushing as hard as we can with what we have, and so I do know we have a very hardworking, dedicated staff doing what we can above and beyond every day. I did want to know, one, we need to update my Ward 3 map because there's a little tidbit I gained through redistricting that still shows as Ward 1 and not Ward 3. So just wanted to kind of make us aware that I've gained what's adjacent Area 15 now, and it's still showing as Ward 1. So one, I wanted that. I wanted to kind of know how many folks selected to respond to the survey in Spanish.
I'd have to double check. I know we had a good representation from the Hispanic community. It matched up with the actual U.S. Census. I'd have to double check how many actually chose to fill out the survey in Spanish. Typically, it's a low number because a lot of times there's someone in the house who speaks English who will fill out the survey to represent the entire household. But I can double check on that.
Could you? That would be, I think, very, I don't know, I'm very interested in knowing that number of folks because I think we have to continue to make sure that we're putting information out in the language that people are selecting as their first. And then I wanted to know if there's a way to get an individual breakdown per ward, just like you did it for the city. Is there a way to give us that breakdown in the ward so that at a ward level we can kind of see if they stay consistent, if some things flip around? Because I think it's very helpful information for us as leaders of our areas to kind of have a pulse.
Right. Yeah, that's absolutely something we can do. I believe we've done that in the past as well, where we just run a crosstab and break the results out by ward. So you'll see the results for all the questions on the survey for each ward. So yeah, we did that to some extent with those maps, but those are just on the questions on the 5-point scale. But we can do that for the entire survey. So.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, and I just wanted to reiterate my support for continuing to do this year after year, or every other year, because I think it's a really valuable tool. I appreciate the presentation information. I may have missed this in the email, but did you have demographic information, a breakdown of age ranges?
Yeah, that's in the full report.
Okay, I may have just skipped that over that page, so I'll find it. I appreciate that.
And I emailed that to you, Councilman, Mayor Pro Tem.
I looked through it. I think I may have just skipped over that one, so I'll find that.
And Councilwoman Diaz, also to Jason's point, all the maps, there's a separate attachment for the maps. It breaks it down by ward in there too, and you get a better sense. But he can cut that down even further, dig down even further.
That's right. Yeah. Yep. Absolutely.
My last request of Mr. Jansen, I think the data that I would see in this is very consistent with what I get in my ward. Is 9 out of 10 calls right now are about city streets in some form or fashion. Sorry, Ms. Paskey, I can see you hiding back there. But I think it's probably, for me, I think it's time to talk about it a little bit more broadly, and maybe in a public setting, to talk about what investment we're putting into public streets, including all-inclusive of the Vision Zero program. It's 9 out of 10 calls I'm getting at this point, and it could be because the entire city's under construction. I don't doubt that, but we probably should have an idea of what the next couple of years looks like and brainstorm some of the strategies around dealing with some of the issues people are expressing. Thanks. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilwoman Bernie, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you for the presentation. I have a question. I know you said that you mapped the demographics to the city, but did you also map it by ward? I know that you, I think, have 150 responses per ward, but my ward in Ward 6 looks very different than Councilwoman Diaz. So are the demographics also mapped by ward or just for the city as a whole?
We can definitely break it out by ward. So the maps we've already created are based on the satisfaction questions, but we can dig deeper and run a crosstab that shows the results for every question on the survey on ward, by ward, and that would include the demographic questions. So that's definitely something we can do.
Thank you, and Councilman.
Thank you.
Please.
Thank you for what you do. Can you just make sure we all get a copy of this? I know you have a presentation, but can you email us a copy of it so we can review it?
I emailed it to you yesterday.
You did?
Yes.
Okay, so you telling me to check my email, David?
Yes, sir.
In a public setting like
around
this?
noontime, I think.
Open so everybody can hear that I didn't check my email.
I'll be happy
Thank
to
you, David.
re-email it, sir, if you need.
Oh, my. Yes, please, go back.
Thank you. I did have this question as we were going through the presentation, and so it jumped out at us about the maintenance on the streets. And so, up here we're thinking, so is it because the street sweepers are not going in, or are they complaining about the too much maintenance of the orange cones being up there and it being difficult for them to navigate? And it's an impediment in their daily commute. So I was wondering, do we allow, per the survey, an open-ended question to kind of solicit feedback so that then we know what the concern is related? So if they're not loving our street maintenance, what's the aspect they're pointing to so that then we could take a better look? Obviously, projects are very hard to coordinate, and that's a tall ask, but if it's something that could give us concrete input, it would be something that's helpful and beneficial to have internal huddles over. So I was just wondering.
We didn't have any open-ended questions on the survey. We found that people are less willing to fill out a survey if they have to write a response. We generally avoid those. So there's a couple things we can look at with the streets. We broke the results out by ward so we can see the differences. We also asked about some specific aspects of maintenance to some extent. So the cleanliness of streets, curbs and gutters, neighborhood streets, traffic signals and street signs. So we asked about satisfaction and importance for some of those more specific aspects of streets. And streets was the highest priority in your survey, which is typical for a lot of cities, especially large cities. I would just mention again that even though that's your highest priority, the ratings are still very, very good when you compare it to other large U.S. cities. So even though the satisfaction's low, that's really typical for large cities. So.
Well, Mr. Murata, thank you. I know, as we see timelines change and when you do your surveys, and I think it's really critical that you and your company has been doing it for 7 years and remembering the days when David brought to us, Mr. Riggleman brought to us the first of our surveys. I know we've been rated in different magazines. Number one in diversity for large cities of our size. Also the fastest recovery from COVID. And so, but where they are and how do we have that information available with citation to the public? Because I think it's very important that as everything changes and it's cyclical, we know F1 had a real reaction from if there were people down here were affected as well, even though it was out in the greater Las Vegas area. So at the time the survey's taken, there's so many variables here. And I think with dates and citation to everything, does that go up on our portal?
Mayor, I'll let Jason speak further on this, but I think the idea is that the questions are consistent over the years so that we can benchmark years in the past and then other communities. So we try to keep them very similar. He can, Jason's the expert and can elaborate on that more, but it makes sense when you think of it in that regard, because that way you're able to compare apples to apples each time you do the survey.
And that true with the data. So is there one major for each of your questions that we can look at the, let's say, 7-year period, because you're not responsible for the prior 3?
Right. Yeah, what David says is exactly right. There is always room to make edits to the survey each time we conduct it. Now, we don't want to just add to it and make it too long or people won't fill it out. But there is room to make changes. But we try to keep the majority of the questions the same for 2 reasons. So we can measure your trends over time, and then so that we can ask those same questions we ask in other large communities, or really in any community across the country, so that we can provide those benchmarking comparisons. But certainly we could make some adjustments to the survey next time.
Well, we thank you, and we look forward to your continuing to work with us and give us the information so we know where we need to improve. We can always improve on everything, but as life goes forward and the challenges and A1 takes over, so many of the areas that will change here, we look forward to continuing relationships. So thank you, Mr. Riggleman.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, council members.
Great. Thanks, everyone. Thank you.
Okay, so we are at a point here, 52, to instruct city clerk to set the public hearing dates and appeals from the City Planning Commission meetings and dangerous building abate and nuisance litter abatements.
Will do, thank you.
Okay, and we're into our final citizen participation. This is agenda item 53. Public comment during this portion of the agenda must be limited to matters within the jurisdiction of the City Council. No subject may be acted upon by council unless the subject is on the agenda scheduled for action. If you wish to be heard, please come to the podium and give your name for the record. The amount of discussion any single subject as well as the amount any time any single speaker is allowed may be limited. It's your opportunity to address council, but council will not respond or engage in dialogue. So please, good morning, how are you, and your name, please.
Good morning, Madam Mayor and City Council members. My name is Monico Allen, and I am yes, that's me.
Wonderful.
And I am a resident of Las Vegas, Nevada.
Wonderful.
I am here, unfortunately, to bring awareness to the incompetence, inconsistencies, and unprofessionalism of the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police and the Las Vegas Justice Court employees or authority figures. I have tried to make a complaint of being harassed and stalked via the internet, and I've been told things by local employees, city employees, and state employees to just simply leave social media. No one takes into account that social media accounts for a lot of success of small businesses, which generates revenue, which means I pay more taxes, and I also help other people. And so I wonder how many people have taken a look at the Code of Ethics in law enforcement and the standard, and is it a standard operating procedure? And since time will not allow me to read them to you, I would implore you, if you're interested, to read the Law Enforcement Code of Ethics and Canon of Police Ethics, highlighting Articles 1 through 3. And here's why. For 2 years, I've been denied the ability to make a police report for stalking and harassment, having the police state to me that since it happened online, it is the duty of the FBI to handle. Wrong. I say it's wrong because it is a direct violation of the Canon of Police Ethics, Article 1, which is the primary job responsibilities of the police, and Article 3, which is the duty to be familiar with the laws and the responsibilities of self and other public officials. Because NRS 200.575.3 and NRS 200.581 explicitly states that stalking and harassment via the internet is a Nevada law. So I don't understand why they're telling me to go to the FBI for 2 years now. Now, I'm going to refer back to saying the incompetence, the inconsistencies, and unprofessionalism, because that seems a little harsh. But I want to ensure you that it's not harsh, because I've had lead employees state things to me like, are you finished with your report? Because it's 4:30 and I need to leave at 5. I have experienced a court personnel give me erroneous information while telling me things like, hold on, not telling me hold on, blindly placing me on hold, then hanging up. I've also had a court personnel person give me the personal identifying information of a person that I do not know. That is the name, the phone number, the address, the email address, what their court case was about, and their court number, their court case number. I've experienced a lieutenant tell me things like, I don't need to correct police reports because only the police see them. While that is a bold-faced dishonesty, he has done way more unprofessional things than that. I've experienced an IA detective tell me the police have to work 60 to 70 cases and the government is not going to pay them any more money, also while referring to his female colleague as a girl. I have experienced victims' assistants deny me assistance because they say I didn't make a police report within 5 days, not taking into account that I was denied the ability to do such a thing. Finally, after obtaining the police report for crimes that started December 2021, in November of 2023, I spoke to the detective that was assigned the case December 8th, 2023, for the first, only, and last time. I've left numerous messages that have gone unanswered. I've requested links to upload evidence that would help her in her investigation that have gone unanswered. As a citizen of the United States, a resident of Nevada, and a human being that considers Las Vegas home,
Thank you. I'm sorry, the time is up. We appreciate your coming down and...
Mayor, Jeff Dorkak, City Attorney, if you'd like, and if the speaker would like me to, I can give you a minute and help you with where you should go with some of those things, because as the mayor knows, a lot of it isn't under city jurisdiction, but a couple of those points I can speak to you about.
I would appreciate that, Mr. Dorkak, because I can't see you. I look to the left in hopes that you would do it. You're the best. You're hired. Thank you. This is Jeff Dorkak, who is the city attorney.
Yes, ma'am.
And very knowledgeable, and hopefully can guide you with some assistance here. Thank you. And anyone else, if you would please come forward and state your name for the record.
Madam Mayor, Daniel Breasted, B-R-A-I-S-T-E-D. Yesterday, I attended the State of UNLV presentation by its president. I suggest promotion of such community events by this body at future council meetings. A summary of his presentation should be included here.
As well.
He mentioned use of 5,000 acres by the Nellis Air Force Base for UNLV and for North Las Vegas. Is there a way that the city of Las Vegas can get an acre or two up there to be involved in that? I attended a pitch event at the UNLV Blackfire Innovation Center, 8440 West Sunset, to listen to 3 businesses pitch to the audience. The first slide had the city seal on it saying that you're a sponsor, which I thought was great. But it's sad that the city didn't promote it. The council person for that event, for that location, should have presented it. We need events where parents can take teenagers to that are not sports related, that are about building people and building businesses. Some time ago, I suggested that to council members that they provide items from their district for door prizes to different luncheons. The conservatives, Republicans have it, but what I want to do is add to it Parks and Recreation. Why isn't Parks and Recreation giving out door prizes there for credit for the swimming pool, for free use of the meeting facilities at the pool, which would promote those that area that sits idle that no one's earning any money on? I share these ideas and they're thrown away, and never mind. Thanks.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, we'll close our citizen participation and move on to emerging council issues. Discussion regarding potential items for future agendas. Any discussion must be limited to whether or not such a proposed item shall be placed on a future agenda, but no discussion thereon should be undertaken. So, Councilwoman Polensky, any emerging issue? Councilwoman, Mayor Pro Tem? Oh, goodness. No. Oh, my, aren't you the lucky one? Okay, so we will now go on to council member recognition. Comments by individual council members during this portion of the agenda will not be acted upon by the council unless this subject is on the agenda and so wish. So this time we're going to start in closest to me, and so we'll start with Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you very much, Mayor. I get to remind people that we have a new Art in the Park. It's scheduled for Saturday, May 11th from 10 to 4 at Rainbow Family Park. It's located at 7151 West Okie Boulevard. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's in partnership with the county and the Rainbow Family Park Coalition, so come on out and enjoy that. And March is Women's History Month. We honor the achievements and contributions of women of all backgrounds throughout history. That's Kate, and she always tells me that she's a woman. And she's ready to be a woman, so there she is. Thanks to all the strong women in my life that helped prepare her. And as always, reach out to me any way you like. Thanks, Mayor.
Is she cute? Go, girl. Councilman Creer.
Thank you. It is tax season, and Vita Free Tax Form preparation will help prepare your taxes at no charge. Representatives will be available at the Doolittle Community Center located at 1950 J Street weekly, Monday through Thursday from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. through April the 15th. Appointments are required, though. So for more information, appointments, call 702-229-6125 or visit www.nvfreetaxes.org. Join me, Bolden Area Command, and Mario's Westside Market for the opening of the spring baseball season. Opening day will take place this Saturday, March the 9th at 9 a.m. at Doolittle Field, located 1950 J Street. Come out to support the team as they are gearing up for an exciting baseball season. For more information, please call 702-828-8349. And that's going to have a first pitch by our Sheriff McMahill. Tennis and Fun, join the Ward 5 office as we continue to provide tennis in our community with the Inspiring Children's Foundation on Friday, March 22nd from 5 to 7 p.m. for an evening of tennis and fun at Lorenzi Park, which is located at 333 West Washington Avenue. This is a free family event offering a tennis clinic and tennis open play. There will be a DJ, refreshments. For more information, contact my office at 702-229-5443. We're having an old school car show and Easter egg hunt, which is be rolling in the Doolittle Community Center and Kianga Aselki Palacio Park on Saturday, March 23rd from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Donations of Easter basket items are needed for the Easter egg hunt. This is another free event open to the family. For more information, contact 702-229-PLAY. And join us, which is pretty hard to believe, to celebrate the first anniversary of the Ernest and Betty Becker Family Technology Center and Recreation Park, which is located at 2221 Maverick Street on Saturday, March the 30th from 1 to 4 p.m. This center is loaded with hands-on equipment with an emphasis on technology development. Classes are also offered here year-round to empower the community. For more information, call 702-229-2200. Don't forget, always subscribe to our newsletter. Ward 5 newsletter. Very, very important stuff we put out. And you can always follow us on social media at Cedric Creer, Instagram, Councilman Creer, Facebook, and Councilman Cedric Creer on X, formerly known as Twitter. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Diaz.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I recently noticed that former city employee Tom Perigo had a birthday on March 3rd, so just in case he's still watching from afar, happy birthday, Tom. Happy belated birthday. On February 27th, we had the awesome opportunity to finally do the groundbreaking for the Sutherland 3rd Street assemblage on 3rd in California. And I love that we're going to bring over 330 units of offerings, dwelling units, awesome living space. And I was in great company there with Becky Miller from 18B. Also, our city manager was there. You can see his shoveling skills from Public Works coming in handy. And I'm just loving that we're providing more housing in the Arts District and more just amazing housing opportunities for the future. On the same day, we were able to also cut the ribbon to the Freedom Park Community Solar Project. And this has been a project long in the making since 2019 legislation carried by former Senator Mo Dennis. And we were at the table to see this vision happen and come through. So thank you, Senator Mo Dennis. Thank you, wonderful City of Las Vegas team, and especially Marco Vallada and Steve Ford, who have been head-spearering this project for us. We did it in partnership with IBEW and Nevada Energy, all to bring more solar energy to the area, and hopefully a future tax credit for folks who have to qualify for earning these credits. You have to be from low income, whether resident or small business. So be on the lookout if you live adjacent to Freedom Park about this wonderful opportunity to get a credit on your utility bill. February 28th, we were invited to partake in CC Rano's Community Partners Breakfast, and it was great to be in a very, very huge, great room there with amazing nonprofit organizations, community leaders, and school members who have all brought their offerings to support our students pre-K through 5 at Rano, and there's just a strong sense of community, and I give all the praise and the credit to Shelley Cruz Crawford for being the principal there and doing great things for our families and our students. On February 28th, I was super honored to be in the most recent graduating class of the incubator program that the city takes part in, hosts, and I want to give a huge shout out to Minerva Gomez, who makes this possible, Ramiro Reyes, and the SBDC team, among others like UNLV, who come and offer 6 weeks to small business owners of awesome knowledge so that their business concepts grow, and we want to see small business owners continue to be very, very successful in their endeavors. On February 29th at the historic 5th Street School, we had our second annual Art and Cultural Summit, and the mayor was there, and I believe Councilwoman Seaman was there, former MPT and now LG, Stavros Anthony was also in attendance, and it was just really awesome to see all of our arts community come together for engaging in insightful conversations about next steps, paths forward to continue to bolster the arts in our community. I obviously need to sing praises to Director Maggie Plaster and her entire department for bringing an amazing community gathering together, and it was just an amazing event. Also on February 28th, we had the Stray Pirates Cocktail Lounge grand opening. I'm sorry you missed it, MPT. I know we missed you kind of having non-alcoholic Mai Tai. I know you wouldn't have wanted it non-alcoholic, but we did have a non-alcoholic Mai Tai, and we just want to welcome, and how do we move the needle collectively around the space. This week is Nevada Reading Week, one of my favorite weeks of the year because I get to go back to classrooms and instill and I hope make our youth excited about reading for pleasure. So to kick it off, I was able to go to Orion K. Gregson Safe Key program after school and Ira J. Earl Safe Key program also, as well as Sunrise Acres Elementary Schools. And I thank my colleagues for going to read to our Strong Start Academies as well. So that's been awesome to hear about. Want to put a plug in for a few things coming up. 2024 Spring Job Fair. It's the state's largest annual job fair. Make sure you share this information with anyone that you know is looking for employment opportunities. It's March 8th, this year, 9 to 2 p.m. at the Las Vegas Convention Center, and it's being hosted by Commissioners Gibson and Tick Sager-Bloom. And obviously, as the chair of the workforce, the LEO workforce, I want to make sure our residents know about this awesome opportunity as well. We also want to invite you this Saturday. March is International Women's Day, or International Women's Month, and we are hosting a health and education resource expo out of our East Las Vegas Community Center on Saturday, March 9th from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. So we want to invite you all to partake in those offerings and festivities, and so I hope to see you there. There's going to be inspirational speakers, community resources, children's activities, live music, giveaways, health screenings, cultural performances, and more. Don't miss out on this event. Also want to let everyone know, yes, the time has come where we need to make sure we have lifeguards so that our pools can be open during the pool season. So if you know anyone needing a job opportunity as part of a swim team at any local high school and wants an opportunity to earn a little extra income, please tell them about these upcoming dates: Saturday, April 6th, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Pavilion Pool, or Saturday, April 27th, 9 to 1 at the Municipal Pool. And last but not least, free tax preparation events still happening, and one offering is out of our fabulous Mexican consulate offices. Take a screenshot right there of the QR code. You can basically make your appointment for Wednesdays, Fridays, or Saturdays from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. And these appointments run all the way through April 12th. And there's English and Spanish services offered depending on what the language of need is. And that's it for me, Mayor. I want to just encourage everyone to continue to stay in touch with us, and you see all of the ways you can get a hold of the Ward 3 office. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Councilwoman Seaman.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So I want to thank Troy Oglesby and Shannon Nordstrom for having me speak at the Good News Club lunch on February 20th. I also enjoyed meeting so many faith-filled people. I had the opportunity to recognize my dear friend, Pastor Russ Smithers, and Abundant Peace Church with a proclamation from the mayor and the city celebrating their one-year partnership with the Foundation for Recovery. We had another great breakfast buzz and Ward 2 Biz with our great Metro team and our marshals there to answer questions on public safety. And I would like to congratulate Roberto's Tacos on their 60th anniversary. Both Councilwoman Diaz and I got the honor to attend and present a proclamation from the mayor and the city of Las Vegas. So we have a lot of upcoming events, including another human trafficking event on March 7th at 5:30 at Fervent Church. We have a pet adoption event, Easter Bag Hunt, Canine Carnival with Three Dog Bakery, also at Bruce Trent Park on March 17th from 11 to 4. And then we have another anti-human trafficking event partnering with Hope Church in the city of Henderson that's going to take place at March 18th at 5:30 p.m. Our April events, our next breakfast buzz is April 6th at 9 a.m. at Veterans Memorial Community Center, immediately followed by our document shredding and medication disposal, which would be the same day right after the breakfast buzz from 10 to noon. And then we have our Art in the Park, April 20th from 10 to 4, again at Bruce Trent Park. So if you would like to participate and get a booth, please don't hesitate in reaching out to us. So many pets need to be adopted, including Antonella, a beautiful 6-year-old German Shepherd, and Neo, a 2-year-old domestic short-hair cat. If you would like to adopt these or any others, please contact SBCA.org. If you would like to get the word out about your business in Ward 2, please contact my office to be featured on our Small Business Saturday segment. Our phone number is 702-229-2420. And lastly, if you have any issues or concerns in Ward 2, please contact our office at ward2@lasvegasnevada.gov. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Polensky.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. And before I get going, I have to offer congratulations to the rank and file members of Las Vegas Fire and Rescue, who are clearly the big winners of today's community survey. 86% of those respondents said they were very satisfied or satisfied with the services rendered from our fire department, and congratulations, make me proud today. As you may know, March is Women's History Month. To commemorate the month, I thought I'd share a few facts. Number 1, women make up 27% of Congress. Number 2, women make up 14% of active duty military members. And in 2021, 57.8% of all women participated in the labor force. And lastly, in 2022, women accounted for more than half of the college-educated workforce in the United States. I'm proud to serve on the Las Vegas City Council with so many strong and intelligent women, and the guys are pretty cool too. Next up, this week is Nevada Reading Week, which coincides with Dr. Seuss's birthday on March 2nd. Nevada Reading Week is a statewide initiative implemented in 1987, whose mission is to inspire and instill joy and importance of reading across Nevada, with events such as books, author studies, literary events. And to kick off the week, I had an opportunity to read at the Strong Start Academy, Sheila Tarr Academy. I had a great time with the kids, and I look forward to reading to them again next year. To close out Nevada Reading Week, tomorrow I'll be providing cookies and juice and reading to the kids at Cimarron Rose Community Center for their annual Juice with Seuss event. And I'll look forward to Dr. Malich's report on which council person read the best at Strong Start Academy this week. Last night, I joined Las Vegas Metro Police Department and our City Public Works Department, that's Joey Paskey, and our Code Enforcement Department, that's Nick Ayala, for First Tuesday at the Starbright Theater in Sun City. We had a great turnout and provided valuable information to the residents of Ward 4. Thank you for all those who participated. I will host another shredding event at Desert Shores on Saturday, April 13th from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. at Desert Shores Community Center parking lot located at 2500 Regatta Drive. Please remember to move all metal clips, staples, and batteries before dropping off your boxes of paper. Next up, from February 26th through June 16th at the Durango Hills YMCA is offering a heart healthy monitoring. Take time to invest in your health and take advantage of these free screenings. For more information, please call the Y at 702-240-9622. And the next slide features the face of 11 children who are currently missing in Las Vegas. If you have any information, please call Las Vegas Metro's Missing Person Detail at 702-828-3111. At-risk youth or runaways, please call or visit the National Runaway Safety Hotline at 800-786-2929. There are, as always, free bus rides home. And lastly, stay connected with myself, my staff on social media platforms, or always contact us directly the old-fashioned way, reaching us at 702-229-2524. Subscribe to our newsletter. We're always here to provide any assistance that we can. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And Councilwoman Burney, please.
Last but not least, thank you, Mayor. Thank you to everyone who participated in today's meeting. Last week we were busy and the themes were policy and summit. Last Thursday I participated in the Children's Advocacy Alliance Winter Summit, where I joined other elected officials to discuss some of the ways our local, county, and state governments are supporting our families and children. I was pleased to be joined by my colleague, MPT Knudsen. That same day, we were able to catch the tail end of the city's second annual Arts and Culture Summit. Again, just to echo Councilman Diaz, I want to commend our Parks and Recreation Department and our Cultural Affairs team for this amazing and very successful event. Everyone I talked to was raving about the event and said it was even better than last year. A special highlight for me was to watch the Jazz Outreach Initiative Youth Orchestra perform. The founder, Donnie Thompson, is a Ward 6 resident, and I was actually one of the founding board members of the group. They continue to inspire me and other young people to explore the beauty of jazz music. Last Saturday, I was pleased to join my colleague, Councilman Diaz, at the Nevada Hispanic Legislative Caucus, where we talked about housing challenges in the region and some of our city's efforts to provide solutions. That same morning, our office had 2 additional events. First, we began with a cleanup at Floyd Lamb Park in partnership with Get Outdoors Nevada. We were pleased to have volunteers from MGM and other local residents. We picked up over 120 pounds of trash, making Floyd Lamb Park one of our beautiful parks. We then managed to brave the winds and rain and held our spring shredding event. Special thanks to our amazing events team, whose commitment to providing our residents with top-notch customer service never wavers, even in the face of unexpected challenges and really bad weather. Congratulations to UNLV President Keith Whitfield for another successful and inspiring state of the university yesterday. Last night, I was pleased to attend Metro's first Tuesday at the Northwest Area Command. Thank you to our own LaTanya Webb and our city business licensing office, and to Larry Rogers of Southern Nevada Health District for attending and talking to our residents about SB 92 and food vendors, which have prompted many calls to my office in recent weeks. Mark your calendars. On March 16th, we'll be hosting the Animaniacs in concert at the Centennial Hills Park Amphitheater at 7 p.m. Bring a blanket and some snacks and come out and enjoy some free family fun. We're pleased to share that we're bringing farmers markets back to Floyd Lamb Park. This will be hosted and organized by Fresh 52 and held every second and fourth Sunday of each month from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. On March 14th, we'll be back at our satellite office for our monthly Bocaditos with Bruni community meeting. Please come out and share your concerns or stop by to say hello. Mark your calendars for March 30th, when we will be hosting our family spring fling event that includes family fun, resources for foster families, a pet adoption event and parade, and a classic car show from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And on April 13th, we'll be hosting our annual Bluegrass Festival at the Centennial Hills Park from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Again, bring a blanket and some food and come out and enjoy an amazing day of great music. I want to take a special moment to to welcome our newest intern, Helena Saavedra, who will be interning with us this spring and summer. She's a student at UNLV studying business administration with an emphasis on marketing. So we're hoping that we can leverage her skill sets to finally have a Ward 6 presence on TikTok. As always, we want to hear from you. Please reach out at 702-229-5463 or email us at ward6@lasvegasnevada.gov. Thank you and stay safe.
Thank you. Thank you all. There's so much going on in the city. It's just incredible, and so many opportunities to go to events, enjoy our parks, or come to meetings that are being held here. And I have just been around the entire Southern Nevada area, knowing, of course, that our sheriff had his state of the police and law enforcement. Certainly our wonderful president, UNLV, which was yesterday, I think, as well. All our days blur together, but a special shout out to Mike Howe and, of course, to Eric Strain, UNLV, and Assemblage Studio, because we held our Mayor's Urban Design Symposium Awards, the MUDA Awards, last night. at the Fifth Street School. And we had remarkable work done. Mike Howe has just stepped forward every year. It's a huge undertaking. We have so many talented artists and architects and people who just really want to either reuse and redevelop or repurpose or create new. We had 4 categories last night: buildings and environment, and the Beverly Theater, which was part of the Rogers Foundation, won that category. We had historic preservation and adaptive reuse, and that was the first time 3 winners. We had the Golden Steer, who did a whole addition to their wonderful restaurant, which is very period sensitive, the new Bent Inn, and then, of course, the Carousel that is down there on Main Street at a plaza. And then we had our public art, West Side Mural, Randre Amandrosa. I got it that time, I think. Talent for the mural in the historic West Side. And then for public places, Abato Urban Farm also in the historic West Side. So it was a great night, well attended, and Christy Garnis and her team helped so much set everything up. But congratulations, Mike Howe, you did an outstanding job. And that all comes from the fact that we have our just favorite law enforcement marshals, our clerk's office that keeps us in line, our wonderful technology that keeps us, and our PIO, our Public Information Office, moving forward. And to say nothing of our city manager and his team, our attorney. There's just so much going on, but nothing works without these people to my right and left. And so it's a great time, and we look forward to seeing you in 2 weeks. And so much going on. So thank you to all. Thank you, Fire and Rescue. And we're lucky people to call Las Vegas home. So with that, this meeting is adjourned. And what did we do? We did 12:20.